Hello everyone, Craig Rice, Patriots Credit Services. Today I wanted to give a little information out, more towards realtors and loan officers, more targeted towards the loan officer, just because they're going to be the one who looks at the credit report, and see if they could be approved for the home loan. When it comes to, there's the two things I want to talk about again is going to be collections as well as charge-offs. The charge-offs, what I'm about to tell you, it most likely you don't know, so I want to educate everyone on this. Let's first start with collections. So collections, the last thing you ever want to do is tell a consumer or borrower to pay off the collections and come back and the scores are going to go through the roof, when in fact they're going to go through the floor. The reason for this is, and I talk about this all the time because it's so important, the reason for this is because it restarts the date of last activity when even $1 payment is made all the way up to the full balance. If you're making payment plans on a collection, then what happens is every payment is going to restart the date of last activity, which is going to drop the scores. FICO 2, 4, and 5, the mortgage scores, typically all 10 FICOs. There's 10 FICOs now. There's not 9. But again, FICO 2, 5, and 4 for the mortgage scores are going to drop significantly because FICO is going to think it's a new collection or react. The algorithm is going to, act as if it's a new collection and drop your client's credit scores. I am not, by all means, I'm not saying to tell your client to not pay their debts. I am not educating that either, but my job is to educate and explain what's going to happen when you take certain actions with things on your credit report, and ultimately the quickest way to get the scores high enough to be able to be approved for what they're looking to be approved for, in this case a mortgage. So the statute of limitations, when you make that payment, the statute of limitations will extend. So in the state of Illinois, it's 7 years, right? So if they've had that collection for 5 years, most likely it's not even playing a part in their today's scores. It's past 2 years. Not saying it has no effect, but it's not drastically affecting the today's scores. When the client makes a payment, it's going to restart that statute of limitations over, and the score is going to drop. Next, charge-offs, like repossessions, right? Charge-offs for credit cards, installment loans, different things like that. This is most likely, you do not know this. If you do, good. If not, I want to make sure to educate you on this and give you a couple tips on ways to the quickest way to get your client approved. The quickest way is to get them over to us, right? But if they don't want to enroll or they want to do it themselves, we've all seen this. When you look at a charge-off, it's different than a collection, obviously, but even the dates reflect different. So what I mean by that is the statute of limitations of 10 years now for an installment in the state of Illinois, it doesn't start at the date of last activity. It actually starts at the first date of delinquency regarding that charge-off. So 180 days, or roughly, they have a choice, at 180 days, the creditor has a choice to charge it off. When you charge it off, they still owe the money. That's just a tax thing where they charge it off to the IRS, and they're basically saying, I never received this money from this consumer, so therefore I'm not paying taxes on it, which is their right. But what I mean by this is the scores will drop when there's a new date of last activity, meaning when you make up a payment plan or the client makes up a payment plan on that repossession or charge-off, it's going to drop the scores every month. And it's not going to extend the statute of limitations clock, though, which is important to know. The date of last activity, again, will trigger every single time you make a payment, ultimately dropping the scores. But the good news to know is when you look at a credit report, let's say that the first date of delinquency is 22 months ago. In about 2 months, and it's roughly within a day or a few days after, 24 months of the date of first delinquency, what happens is the scores are going to adjust and they're going to actually increase. Usually it's significantly, as long as recently there was some, on-time payments, credit card balances paid down, that second highest credit scoring factor. So if you look at a credit report and you're just a few points away, even 20, 30 points or so, then what you want to do is just have your client wait it out. Obviously let them know, or get them over to us. We'll let them know. We won't even enroll a client like that unless it's beneficial for them elsewhere, but ultimately our goal is to get them back to you. So wait it out a couple months. As soon as it passes that 24 months, it relieves a bunch of weight off the credit scores. So obviously the further the delinquency is from today, the less negative it is towards your today's scores, right? So as time goes by, is what's relieving that weight off of that credit score. So a lot of clients, you do not need, and we'll let you know this, and we'll let them know this. We'll give them steps. We'll we'll hold their hand and walk them all the way to the closing if need be, and we have and we do. So it's very important to know that when we look at the credit reports, we're breaking it down in detail, looking at every date, looking at everything that they could do on their own to increase their scores without paying us and to get involved with our program. If they could do it themselves and they could do it quickly. The last thing we want to do is put accounts in dispute, and you can't get them approved until the accounts come out of dispute, right? You can no longer get a file approved for a mortgage if accounts are in dispute. Well, ultimately, if the balances are over 2,000 combined balances. There's many things we're going to do to look at the credit report, as our current loan officers and realtors know. And a lot of clients, we automatically, after the free credit analysis that every single consumer client, whatever, gets, after that, during that, we're going to determine what's the best course of action to get the scores up the quickest, what dropped the scores down, what's holding them back, right? Knowing just those three things, and a lot of things involved in those three things, is what's going to get your client there the quickest. So everybody that works with us has a portal. They also have a link where they could upload credit reports. They could upload IDs or whatever it is, or documentation showing that things are not the client, or whatever the case may be. So the link actually has, you could even get this to your client, it has your pretty face, it has your pretty logo, it has your pretty contact information right there. You can market that out, or we can market it out and put in QR codes and different things like that. But anyways, my whole point of telling you, or starting this video and being here right now and letting you know this, is because there's a lot of things with the FICO algorithm that change that you won't know about. Okay, so one of the recent is the statute of limitations didn't change, but what triggers the statute of limitations is not the date of last activity on a charge-off anymore. As well as, I want to be able to get you tips to not let the client know to do certain things. That's actually going to hurt you. You're not going to get the file approved for a long time due to that, and you're going to upset the client once they take your advice and their scores drop significantly. I hope this information helps. Anytime, contact me. Free credit analysis all day long. It's Saturday right now. I'm heading to the office. Craig Rice, PatriotsCreditServices.com. Thank you.